Okay, so today's topic we're talking about getting back your mojo after MCO. So mojo, yeah. Initially, this is in preparation for tomorrow getting back to work, but then again, it's always applicable because someday we'll get back to work. Someday things will be normal, but maybe not tomorrow, but it will be someday. So I would like to take this opportunity, right? Since today is the last session, I would like to take this opportunity to rewind back and share back the 12 days of learning in brief. I can't share back what all the presenters have done, but I'll be sharing what the presenters has done in brief. So look at this. It's quite a nice thing to see down memory lane, whereby we even have another one of our presenter here with us. Esther is with us. So 4 presenters over 12 days of learning different areas of metaphysics. It was a very exciting project for us, and we really like to thank everyone who has joined us along the journey. Some of you have not joined us throughout all the days of the 12 days of mindful learning project. But then again, we really appreciate for the time that you have spent, even like 1 session or 2 sessions, and we believe that you will gain some information and some knowledge from there. So 12 days, we started off with talking about the energized morning. Energized morning, that time we were talking about the mind, because we're using Shimen Tunja to basically tap into a good sector for you to have a better learning and a better day to start, better way to start your day. So that was how we kickstart. And after that, from then on, we have Zell sharing about the pandemic, sharing about the from astrology point of view. And then after that, Shiren came into the picture and then share about the 5 elements. So sharing about Bazi. And then Esther, specialty in astrology, Western astrology. So she brought us through a session, a very interesting session about all the 12 houses, all the signs, all the planets, and really give us a glimpse about how to read astrology chart. On that day itself, after the session, I still remember that a lot of my friends who joined the session, a lot of friends and also customers who got to know this mindful living project, and after that attending the session, there were a lot of chats on that day. Basically, they were asking a lot of questions because that kind of like stirred the interest in the Western astrology topic. After that, we've again, time and again, we actually go through the whole 12 days sharing about different areas again. It is checked. Yes, a lot of questions actually. So after that, we go on, and then once again we talk about Chimen Tunja again. So Chimen Tunja, from the 12 days, right, we actually focus a lot on the mind, like how you can increase your positive vibe through the Chimen Tunja practice, tapping into what we call the Chimen subconscious awakening path. So Chimen, what we selected is actually Chimen application, right? There's quite a lot of application which I shared during the class. But then again, during this, we actually make it a point to share on the topic that we find that is important during this MCO, or during in Singapore term is CB, because we find that the mind is very important to maintain that we have a positive mindset during this time in order to face whatever challenges that we may have. So Chimen, what we did is we focused on that, really focusing only the aspect about the mind. After that, in terms of different presenters sharing by them, right, we go through astrology, we go through the reason why this pandemic happened, how we can use good health practices to implement in our daily life in order to have a more vibrant health, looking into the health houses, and so on and so forth. So Chiren also share on the feng shui, simple feng shui hacks also to implement into your life. So these are things that we have done over the 12 days. And today we finally go into the last session, whereby we want to talk about how we can get back our mojo. So this is a bit of the summary about the 12 days. I didn't touch on all, but hope that you get a glimpse. And what is going to happen is, right, we are going to post all the videos of our presenters of the 12 days after this session. So what you're going to get is you're going to get a chance to rewind and recapture some of the information that is being shared during the session. and then hopefully you will get something more, because sometimes when we watch certain video or we attend certain classes, we actually get a bit more information that we may not have captured earlier. Okay, that's nice chat. Okay, so 12 days of learning. And after that, I would like to share with you, this is something that I this is something that I learned along the way about learning. So why did I share this? Basically, the 12 days of learning, I hope that we have managed to at least capture up to the 3 stages of learning. Because in a very model of from Bloom's, we call it the Bloom's taxonomy. Basically, learning, right, it actually starts from remembering. Initially, you remember last time in school. So in maths, right, basically you just be chanting. It's something like chanting the maths formula, like 2 times 3 is what, 3 times 3 is what, 4 times 3 is what, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of intense, basically it's 死記啦, in Cantonese it's so 死記啦. So basically you're just trying to remember and just trying to stuff your brain with all the information that is perhaps at this stage, metaphysics is like that to you. Metaphysics is, in terms of Western astrology, you try to remember what all the houses represent, what all the planets represent. Oh, house 8 is about sex and death. Things like that. House 5 about enjoyment. You're trying to remember initially in the first stage. And then after that, on the Party session, you were trying to remember Ren Day Master, what is the meaning? If it's Jia Day Master, Young Wood, what does it mean? So there's a lot of remembering involved in the first stage. And it is actually normal for everybody. Then after that, you go into second stage where you understand a little bit more about what the information is about. And then you try to put 2 and 2 together. You try to explain and interpret it a bit more, that you kind of like, okay, I know that young water is like this, or then young wood is like this, Ren and Jia is like this. Then comparatively, they are similar in certain ways and not similar in certain ways. So you begin to understand more by making comparisons. After that, you actually starting to apply already. So these are the few stages of Bloom taxonomy. And in these 12 days, right, we actually hope that you can at least go up to the 3rd stage of applying the knowledge. Why? And why is this related to today's topic? It's because essentially, right, getting back your mojo, getting back your mojo after the MCO is essentially, it just means being able to have that kind of jive, that kind of vibe. And this is exactly why we name our academy Jive lah. Because jive is actually means that you dance along with the tune, whereby whatever tune it is, if it's an upbeat one, then you dance on, you follow the tune on. So you don't step on other people's shoe. You dance with the music of life. And essentially this mindful living project, that is what we hope to achieve of you, even during this MCO, that you still have the jive, you still have the good vibes in you to continue your journey after that. So after that, we shall not go into up to the stage of creating, yeah, because I would think that at this stage, the practice, hopefully it has managed to go up to the part of applying. But in terms of up to the level of creating, right, analyzing, evaluating, creating, perhaps it is not there yet. Because I do understand why, in terms of learning, right, each of us, we learn differently, we learn at different pace as well. And for us to go into the stage of really creating something from what we learn, that would require some time for most people, especially. So after that, we talk about Mojo lah. What is this Mojo? Mojo, just now we talk about having the vibes, having the groove, the jive along, dance along. That's why this fella, right, this old man icon here, right, you can see that it's actually doing a wink. So even though old, but still mischievous lah, still wing lah. So that is how I represent the Mojo. And essentially, in terms of Mojo, we're talking about someone who, even like just now, even also being very mischievous, confident, sassy, very energetic, and very positive. And I think just now when I was thinking about a character to share with you on this Mojo thingy, I remember the John Travolta lah. John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. Something like night fever, we know how to do it. So why, once again, we go back to this Mojo thing, right? Actually, Mojo seems like a bit of magic for people who, when you see someone who is quite attractive, like the star of the party, perhaps, not attractive in the sense of the outlook, but perhaps attractive in the sense of the way they carry themselves, the way they seem to be so happy, so confident and sassy, right? So basically, what is it that differentiates someone that got the mojo and someone that doesn't have the mojo? For me, in my opinion, it's actually very simple. Someone who got the mojo, basically, is someone that knows something more than us. And by knowing, because of this knowing, they are confident. It's like when they go to a party, they know how to dance, perhaps. They know the people there. So thus, they are confident, and thus they seem to have the mojo. And by knowing, you also realize that someone who actually knows, when you know more, you actually have a bit more choices. And in times like this, during the MCO, why I relate back to Mojo is because during the MCO, we find that we kind of like a bit confidence is being affected, and we feel that we are a bit in the unknowing because we do not know what to expect. What happens after this MCO? What happens when it starts works? Am I still needed or not? Am I still, will my job be affected? Will my livelihood be affected? So this is the thing that put us into this unknowing situation and which shakes our confidence. So that's why today's session, I would like to share with you I would like to share with you and reflect back on the previous 12 days, right? And think back, what are the lessons that we have learned along the 12 days that we can actually implement into our life to ensure that we actually have still have a chance. We still have a chance in this knowing, and we still have a chance in this knowing and being confident by just doing the necessary actions to maintain our positivity. Okay, I stopped the video already. Okay, so with the 12 days, we hope that we've managed to give you some tips actually on how to know more, how to maintain that positivity, how to maintain that confidence by implementing the necessary steps. For example, you talk about the astrology by knowing yourself. By knowing yourself, where are all your planets? Where do you stand? What are your areas of weakness? What are your areas of strength? By then, you can actually implement steps to help yourself. Another example in Qi Tunjia, we talk about the Qi subconscious awakening path. So basically, we talk about how you can do meditation in order to issue a command to your subconscious mind. If you look into it in a more like a subjective manner, not something very spiritual or very woo or whatever. Basically, it's your subconscious. So you start the day by issuing a command to your subconscious saying that, hey, you know what? Today is going to be a great day. I know there are challenges. There are this thing that need to be done, but I know how to do it. I'll learn. I'll get the support of other people. So it's basically starting the day right with metaphysics tips. In terms of feng shui, you can also do the same thing. Which is the area tied into the west sector, for example? Which is the area got the necessary good stars for you to implement to get your mojo? Next, today, I would like to also do a little bit of demonstration, about how you can use metaphysics let me just put this screen smaller. Let me just put the screen small. Hi, Huling. Okay. The reason why I want to put the screen smaller is I find that I get a better glimpse of all the information from there. Hope that you can see, yeah, guys. Okay, so today I'm going to demonstrate. We talk about Mojo, we talk about knowing. Knowing more means you can do more. You can do more with confidence. So how can we know more? These are the things that I use in my daily life to know more. Is by using my metaphysics skills law. Since I know how now I've learned this, I've been practicing this, so I always use it in my daily life. Today, 3-something, friend called me and asked about relationship, not relationship for herself, but more about relationship of another person. So her question was like, hey, this girl and this guy, they are good together or not? So there's a reason why she wants to know lah, but let me check whether she's here or not. Check who's the participants. Okay, she's not here. Okay. Okay. So her question was, this girl and this guy good together or not? Once we answer this question now, so she wants to know ma, and being a friend, I also answer her lah. So how do I see with treatment chart? So this is actually a treatment chart for those of you who are not familiar. Basically, treatment chart is like a time map. So treatment chart is the map of that specific time. If we plotted a specific time, how the universal energy is. So by seeing the universal energy, right, we can actually deduce certain information from it based on the questions that the person asks. So a person, when the question the person asks, we call that person the asker. And then so this one, you can see in this chart. Let me take the anecdote thingy. Okay. You can see this chart. Okay. Not this one. What's this? Okay, so you can see that in the chart, right? Look at my mouse. In the chart, the northeast sector at the bottom left corner, that is actually the asker. So in the treatment chart, we call that this is the asker. But today, her question does not relate to her. So we're not looking at her as an asker. Straight away, because she's asking about relationship between a girl and a guy, right? So you say this girl and this guy, none or not, they all. So she straight away. It's very important for achievement forecaster, a person like me being a consultant. How I address the question is based on her how I address her is based on her question. So she was like, this girl and this guy, none or not. Straight away, I look at this girl and this guy. This girl is in the northwest sector. This girl, let's look at this girl's qualification, so-called. This girl is heaven star, heaven deity with hero star, with the red star, and then with a gui at the bottom as the stem. So what does this denote? Northwest, it actually is a Chengua, is a metal palace, and this girl having the heaven kind of deity, we can actually deduce that this girl is pretty, and this girl is also quite a leader kind of style. Loves to travel, have quite a strong foresight, coupled with hero star. Hero star, basically, this one is someone who likes publicity, likes to be seen, likes to be, perhaps is an influencer, or perhaps into social media, likes to post on IG. With red star is good because red star basically means that this person is someone who enjoys life, who values family, someone who's valued family. But then what are the negative traits? Basically, this girl has a gui stem underneath. So basically, it means that this girl is not so easy to call. This girl is like a bit hard to call one. Because gui is very hard to, is a bit of a mysterious kind of a stem, who is mysterious. So not easy to guess what she's thinking, Perhaps she's giving you the hot and cold shoulder, that kind, not so straightforward. Okay, so that's my deduction of the girl in being in the Metal Palace, Northwest Palace. After that, let's look into the, this girl and this guy. So let's look into that guy, this guy okay or not? Let's see. This guy is denoted by the gum stem, G and G. So that is the big metal is representing the guy. So this guy got the phoenix deity. Phoenix deity means phoenix is about the mouth talking. So this person can be quite argumentative or sometimes the words can be quite harsh. So not a gentle guy, because further strengthened by the fact that there's a destructor star there. Destructor star is someone who is very aggressive, someone who is a bit more cholo, or sometimes it's used to denote people like those martial arts heroes, that kind of, but not those that is very like more gentleman or more scholarly type. It's more like really go and be that kind of warrior star. Destructor plus phoenix sure is denoting that this guy not very good with words, a bit more cholo and a bit more doesn't really know how to express his feelings. If you talk about emotions here, about love. And then furthermore, if you look into this guy, he's sitting at the fear door. Fear door, so meaning that this guy wouldn't have taken the first step, because his fear door, meaning that he's shy and afraid of the outcome if he make any move. And also interestingly, this southwest sector, right, is actually an Earth Palace. Earth Palace, we can actually say that Earth Palace is usually, we can also kind of deduce that this guy should be quite a bit stocky, not like a very lanky and handsome, that kind because he got all the stars that is a bit more cholo type one. But if the asker is actually asking from the point of view of the girl, the tip for her is the guy of Palace is producing metal, meaning that the guy wants this more than the girl. The guy will take care of the girl more in this instance. But whether is he the right guy or not depends on the girl. What is the qualification that is expected from her, right? So these are the things that I did. The consult for my friend who asked about this girl and this guy. So after that, also look into what I did is I also look into my friend. Why this girl and this guy like not very connected to her? Why she wants to know? For what she wants to know? So you can see inside the chart, right? The asker has the snake star and the snake deity, the pillar star, and also the Han door with the Deng and Beng. Actually, Deng and Beng is a good stem, but the snake deity basically means that she is she's quite patwa, she's quite busybody, and she basically wants to know this for her gossip enjoyment. Perhaps as a topic of conversation with other people, she can actually share information. Hey, I actually did some background check about this guy and this girl, and this is the information I got. And pillar star is also about the communication, different from just now the phoenix. Pillar denotes communication, and this also, even though it denotes mouth, but because it comes with the snake star, right, it actually means that communication that is a bit frivolous, not so important kind, not so serious kind. Because meaning is more serious. Phoenix sometimes it actually denotes a legal battle as well. So this is the thing. This is something that I wanted to share with you guys. Forecast something funny that just happened today. And basically, why I want to show this is I want to show you that this is the part about knowing. If you know how to do forecast, it actually gives you a lot of clues about things that is happening. When you know more, you do better. Because you have better choices, you have better options, you have better view of what is happening. Because even though today I've used it to look into a relationship which may not be your point of interest at the current moment, you can actually use this for many other purposes. You can actually use it to select your job. Let's say you have a few jobs. You can actually select the job based on different palaces represent different job options if you have some options. Or you can even select between, do I want to be doing business, or do I want to do besides business, do I want to do this job, continue to work with this job? So you can use it to forecast the outcome of different options that you have: job, relationships, business, investments. There's so many. So these are the things that once you have a grasp of this knowledge, it actually enables you to be a bit more decisive and a bit more confident in doing your whatever choices or options that you have. Next, show you another thing. Besides Qi show you another thing. This is Yi Jing. So what is Yi Jing? Yi Jing, you call it, can call it I Ching, Oracle, or so on, and there's many names of it. Basically Yi Jing, what is the essence of it? Just now Qi forecasting, it was used for war last time, the art of war, like Zhuge Liang and all these things. The war tacticians of the previous time, they used Qi Dunjia. Yi Jing is used by the ancient sages, used by fortune tellers, used by feng shui practitioners, because Yi Jing is an important component in feng shui. But today, what I want to highlight basically is the Yi Jing divination part. Divinations in the sense of you can also you can cast a chart, you can cast a hexagram in order to get the information you want. So just like Qi Dunjia, just now we were talking about also a chart, right? But this chart is, yes, you can plot it manually. It will take a bit of time because you need to refer to the calendar. But nowadays, you can actually use software to plot. But Yi Jing is even more quite interesting and amazing, because you don't even have to use software, or you don't even have to use a manual calendar to plot. You can plot it immediately. If you are good, you can actually just see whatever visual cues or whatever cues that you have from the environment, and then you plot the chart. How you do that? For example, this chart is generated from the system. So just now I was like, this is actually the chart. This is the following chart, right? It's actually just now the asker, the northeast. So basically call her to be more flexible lah. Don't bakwa people's stuff, and don't have a fixed mindset about how a girl and a guy, what is their relationship, all those things. Don't care about all these things. It's not important. So basically this Gua is saying this thing. This is generated from the system. But besides that, just now I was talking about Yi Jing Gua, right? Later I'll show you. I'm not sure whether you can see the card now. You can also like tarot, you can also select cards. Basically, you're thinking about questions, and you can just select cards. That's the second way for you to get a Yi Jing divination. Third way, very easy, like I say, visual cues. You saw, for example, someone asked you a question about, let's say, for example, just now the girl and the guy, right? So someone asked a question, so how is the relationship between this girl and this guy? Now we're talking about relationship, not about the girl and guy physical features or whatever. So after that, when the person asks a question, right, you chance upon, the person was asking you, then after you chance on you, straight away you were looking around, and you saw, let's say, a toy, those bobbing head toy. Yeah. So that one is your first cue. So bobbing head is actually signified by Qian Gua, the metal Gua, the 3 straight lines Gua. After that, for the next cue that you're going to get, maybe you saw, let's say, a splash of water at your, like below the floor that below you. So straight away you can plot the Gua that this is because water is denoted by Kan Gua. So after that, you can actually straight away get the hexagram from the top Gua being Qian Gua and the bottom Gua being Kan Gua. And then you can cast a hexagram to denote how is the situation from the question that was asked just now. And from there, you can actually get the hexagram is the hexagram of the conflict. Both conflict. So from there, you straight away you know already, oh, these two persons, they don't see eye to eye, their relationship is not so good. So Yi Jing the divination is actually a very good tool for you to use whenever you want to have quick and straight away you can get the forecast about what is the information about this situation and how you should proceed from there. So this is 意境啊. Second thing, so just now 奇门, now 意境. Third thing, look back again at 八字. 八字, why Mojo, how it helps in your knowing? Very simple. Knowing yourself first is, which means that you know what is your likelihood of reacting in a certain manner, and also what are the opportunities and what are the weaknesses or what are the problems that can come during this year. What are the possible things that can happen from your party chart you can see. Secondly, besides from the party chart, like for instance, in this party chart, this is a very young fellow because 20th March 2020, right? So, 人数, water, big water with the dog. So this is a young fella, and you can, from the party chart, you can actually basically see how is the character in the future. So that is knowing. If imagine you are this person, so you're knowing yourself, what are the issues that you have. And this year, because it's a 庚子 year, right? 庚子 year, so basically what the metal is the resource of the water. So from there, you can get the storyline, how the year will interact with the person. Next, by knowing party, you can actually be so-called busybody, and you can know the characters of your friends and of your colleagues, of your bosses, of your spouse, and so forth. How? Very simple. Over the 12 days, I think certain days we actually share with you how to plot the party chart. Basically nowadays, there's a lot of apps out there, there's a lot of websites out there that is giving you free access to plot the party chart. And from there, with just their date of birth or their date, month, and year, you can actually plot the party chart. Without their hour is fine, because what will happen is you're just going to get less one pillar. So you still have the, instead of party, right, 8 characters, you get 6 characters. And from there, you already get a lot of information about how you can interact with this person. For example, if you look into now the party chart, right, this person, this is a baby lah, but never mind, just assuming it is your boss lah, okay? So you can see that this person is, okay, that's my mouse. You can see that this person is sitting on the HO, yeah? So Ji Mao. So the Mao, right, below there, the Yi is actually the HO star. HO meaning that hurting officer, it actually means that it's output star whereby it requires a lot of face lah. It likes to present, it likes to, it got a lot of showmanship, it likes to garner attention. So this is the main characteristic of this star. So if you have a boss like that, how would you react? Your guess is as good as mine, right? Because how you interact with a person like that, by knowing that this person has this feature and this characteristics, you will know that to perhaps give them more face and perhaps to give them more opportunity to present. And definitely for, if you have a boss like that, right, remember, don't xiao them lah. Don't be in a situation whereby you make your boss like lose face lah, because face value is very important to this person. So this is how, just by looking into the chart, right, you can get a glimpse about the personality of the person and react accordingly, how you should deal with the person. Because sometimes we can say that chart never lies. Esther's would also say chart never lies, which is true, because this is our intrinsic character, and that is why we have this party chart. Yes, 10 person born on the same day, right, may not react the same way due to their upbringing, due to education, due to many factors, and due to the situation that they are in. But intrinsically, they have this propensity to react in that way. So on the surface, you might see that your boss is like, okay, very humble, very gentle, okay, everything very good in delegating or empowerment, empower us. So I don't think that he is really about face value and really about really would be very offended if I step on his shoe and make him lose face. That is because you do not everybody will show you their full character especially in work settings. I think in work settings, we tend to be a bit more protective. In Panzi, we call it the month and the year pillar is actually external side of us. So usually we only show it to someone who is like a bit not about like from colleagues to your people who are outside the public. While the internal pillars, the day and also the hour is internal, we seldom show this part of ourselves to others. So there are things like that. It could be the intrinsic characters, right, is actually inside the person's day pillar. So because of that, you don't see it. You don't see it. Or maybe is the person has been trained to not divulge so much information. But if you know how to read parts and then you know how to react. No? Even though he didn't say he wants face and he very scared to lose face, right? But you know ma, then you act accordingly. So isn't it better than unconsciously stepping on someone's shoe without you knowing? It's like saying like like die also don't know what happened. You know, like accidentally step on someone's shoe and then maybe at the back something happened, you got transferred. So these are the things that could possibly happen. If you know, it will be so much easier. So just now we talk about Qi, we talk about Yi Jing, we talk about Ba Ji. And these are the few interesting ways for you to learn more about certain people and certain circumstances. So this actually gives you like a little bit of a heads up to what is possibly going to happen, and you can actually act accordingly from that.